Okay, everybody, we're going to talk about technical reports and presentations today. So, last time when we talked about communication in general, we talked about the process where we send, encode, there's a medium, talking, videos, phone call, etc., decoding, receiver. This person doesn't know what this person intends. And that's where the feedback loop comes in. That to understand each other, this has got to happen. Types of tech. So we're going to get into more of the specifics this time. Types, the process, written reports, memos, oral presentations, and citing other people, making sure we give credit where credit is due. Remember our earlier slides, our earlier chapters, Bill Gates quote, you're going to get what you want when you help other people get what they want. Okay. Design or research, there's a difference. Research is you're trying to find the cause and effect. Uses the scientific method. You'll learn that in chemistry and physics and biology and all that stuff. The summary explains findings. You are not producing a widget, a gadget. The goal is not to produce a better mousetrap. The goal is to find out some scientific principle, to confirm a theory, to investigate and explore areas of knowledge that we don't fully understand. That's the goal of research. Design meets needs. So this is task oriented to produce a product of some sort, whether it be software, whether it be some sort of physical object, whether it be a report. Environmental engineers, for example, their output is a report. It's a report on the conditions of the soil and so forth to support civil engineers in their overall project. So the environmental engineers are part of the team that talks about the environmental impact of a project, of a large project like a bridge or road or something like that. We follow the design process. We use theory. We apply theory. Engineers in design reports apply theory. There is something to be accomplished. And then at the end, there's a call to action, improvements on the product and so forth. Okay, oral or written. So written, advantages and disadvantages both. Pace set by the reader. It can be variable length. It's written only. It's hard to give feedback. But it's asynchronous. In other words, the written reports can be done at a different time than the reader reads them, many years later in some cases. Oral, pace set by the speaker, although videos have meant YouTube and so forth, means that oral reports can be viewed later. Must be clear, it's time limited, there are nonverbal cues, voice tone, etc. Immediate feedback when it is synchronous, face to face. Now, of course, in this class, it's asynchronous. I don't get immediate feedback. I don't get to see your faces. So you want to structure your report. So affinities and fishbones are great ways to structure it. So you're going to present details on the solar oven. You're going to talk about the process, the background information, requirements, design, parameters, analysis, discussion, the concept. And actually, I got things out of order. You'd want to talk about alternative screening decisions. So you'll notice it goes through the design process. That what are the requirements? What is your decision? What is your analysis? And then finally test results discussion. And a very similar way to show it in an affinity diagram. Storyboard things. Sketch. Don't it doesn't have to be pretty at this point in time. Get your 8.5 by 11s, kind of sketch out what you're going to say. Now, then you can, or note cards for that matter, 3 by 5 cards. So then you can put them on your desk and order them around and change the order and things like that. Real fast. When you're in a writing class, sometimes they say you want to lead with your second paragraph. You're getting started writing with your first paragraph, and then you really get into the swing of things in the second and throw away the first. A lot of times that happens. That you look at your first paragraph and say, this really isn't what I'm trying to get at. And then you look at the second paragraph and say, this is a better place to start. Or the third or second sentence or something like that. Reordering the sentences seems to be a more logical flow. I remember what John Steinbeck said, there's no such thing as good writers, there's only good editors. Writing process, content and structure, mechanics, formatting. So, similar to design process. So can you relate to this little cartoon? False sense of security, laziness. Let's see. It isn't. It'll take a while. This is why I want you guys to report weekly. What have you done last week to try to break this cycle? Get a head start. I'm busy right now. Excuses. Denial. I still have time. And then finally, oh my gosh, it's crunch time, crisis time. So you think about the report. What does the report need to say? What are you going to say? And then conclude the concluding remarks. So here's the writing process. You'll notice similar to our design process. Pre-writing, purpose and audience. That's your problem formulation. Brainstorming, requirements. What do you need to say? And then you write it. That's your problem solving. And of course, when you're talking about an engineering report, this is the flow of an engineering report. When you actually write it, you need to talk about your product. What are you trying to do? Outline, concepts eliminated, decision matrix, etc. That's one thing that's lacking about a lot of engineering reports. People come up and say, oh, we did this. Why did you make those choices? That's a lot of times what bosses want to hear. Why did you choose this direction instead of another direction? Then once you've got that organized, write the report. Let's see. Responding, so write it. Check it out with your colleagues, with your other team members. Does it sound right? Does it look like? Revise. There's no such thing as good writers, just good editors. Edit, and then do it. Okay, divide the work. One person works on one section, another person works on another section. Check each other's work. Trade it back and forth within the team before it goes out to the final person, before it becomes public. So the structure, front matter, which is your title page, introduction, title page, and a couple pages maybe. Introduction, what, why, how, and when. What, why, how results. Excuse me. What, why, how results. I'm reciting that from memory. What, why, how results. Just like communication, we want to know what the project is, how you're going to accomplish it, why are you doing it. That should come first, by the way, the why. And then results. At different stages of the process, you'll have different results. Introduction. That's in the introduction. Main body. You'll expand on that. Your executive summary, by the way, that's part of the front matter. The introduction can repeat it. The executive summary is like one paragraph, very short. What, why, how, results in the executive summary, just like the introduction, but very short. Introduction expands on that a bit. You can repeat what was said in the executive summary, but don't use exactly the same words you used in the executive summary. Reword it, in other words. Main body, now you're going to get into the what, why, how results in detail. And the whys, the hows, that includes your decision-making process, closure and recommendations, finally, your conclusion, and back matter, appendices, and the like. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here. We'll pick up with the next video.